All right, friends and family over in Facebook land, we're about to get started on the Money Lab live uh, live podcast. So, okay, here we go. Let me actually set this up.
Nobody's watching.
Yeah, it's okay.
Can they hear through this too?
Yeah, they can
Oh,
hear
okay.
us too. So, let me upload the picture. 2 months is okay.
Well, I just got your notification.
Money Lab, two keys, episode 33. This poop on technology, poop on your business. With guest Jennifer Stinnett. Jones once again in this creation to talk about the importance of embracing technology to secure your future and business. Technology, Jennifer Stinnett. Oops. Okay. Are we ready?
We're ready?
Oh, there's somebody's watching.
Hey, someone's saying hi.
Hey, okay, cool. We're about to get started. All right. And the mic's working, so let's go ahead and set it. All right, welcome to the Money Lab live podcast, episode number 33. Poop on technology, poop on your business. All right, welcome back to another live broadcast of the Money Lab podcast. I'm your host, Wei Hong from the Six Figure Academy, and this is the podcast where we give you real-world tips, real-world tips. I need to change that language, real-world tips. It always is such a tongue twister for me, maybe because I'm Asian or something. Strategies, interviews with other entrepreneurs like the one we have today on how to re-engineer bad money stories and habits so that you can create a prosperous and abundant lifestyle free of financial stress and worry. We also talk about more than just the money stories, but how everything is contributing to that and how your bad money stories contribute to bad decisions. Now, if you are joining us live today, make sure you get on Spreaker.com or download the Spreaker app on your mobile device and search for the hashtag #TheMoneyLab so that you can join us in the chat room and ask questions and interact with us and our guests. While you're here, subscribe so that you don't miss an episode and can catch us every single week live. For all of the ways to find us, go to thesixfigureacademy.com/radio for all the details. You know, I'm not going to go into too much of what transpired this past week. For those of you who have been following, I am still working on launching this new company. Everything is moving forward as usual, and I will continue to share. What I'm really excited about today is that we had a last-minute guest come in because we weren't planning to have a guest this week, but we're going to have a redo from the last time she was on our show. But the last time she was on our show, she wasn't even here. We had someone that came all the way from the East Coast, escaping the hurricanes, to join us today. We have, once again, Jennifer Stinnett from eGen Solution on the show today. So everybody give her a round of applause. Let her come
I
in.
had to get that in there.
Yes.
Our
Okay.
live studio audience.
A live studio audience as you talk. And here it is. Welcome to the show, Jennifer Stinnett, a longtime friend and colleague in the world of entrepreneurship, online marketing, and for those of you who don't know, and I should have pulled up this bio or something like that.
Something.
Or something. Well, you know what? I've known you long enough. I mean, we've been through this enough times. And for those of you who are also online and want to join us to see what we are looking at, what we're doing, what we're drinking, live on Facebook, you can actually see us. Go to our Six Figure Academy page, and you can catch us live right now. We're streaming it right from the other side of behind. So most of the time when I'm talking to the mic, you won't be able to see me, but what's up? Okay. So anyway, Jennifer Stinnett, years ago, I think it's got to be at least 5 years now.
Oh, I think it's more than
It's
that.
more than that? Oh no, right, 6, 7 years maybe. When I first started DigiWay, right?
I think it was like 2009, 2010 maybe?
Oh my goodness. Okay,
No,
so
2010, somewhere after that. Yeah.
Okay, so about 7 years.
Yeah.
And you came on board with us to help us with our social media services at the online marketing company at DigiWay,
Yep.
right? And from then on, through our growth together and trials and tribulations in the world of online marketing, here
Our
you are
experiments.
today. Experiments. What I love about what you bring to the table is you are a demonstration of what it means to love what you do. That helps you persevere through the thick and thin of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some really cool things that I would love for you to share about your journey again, in case someone didn't hear you the last time. And then what we're going to talk about is the importance of the world you work in and how that applies to other entrepreneurs. Because a lot of entrepreneurs, especially if they've been in business for a long time, poop on technology. And what we're going to talk about today is how doing that, in other words, not embracing technology, is actually sabotaging your business, right? So we'll get into that a little bit, but let's bring the audience up to speed as to your journey real quick. How you've been able to persevere so long, and that's what I'm really most interested in, because so many people are in your space, do what it is that you do, and so many people drop out. They try it and they drop out, and try and drop out, and here you are, so through hurricanes, typhoons, everything across the board, and you're still passionate about what you do. You love what you do, and you are succeeding at what you do. One of your best years ever. Yeah, right.
It is definitely.
And so go ahead and share with us, a little bit about what the difference, your journey in terms of getting you where you are today.
Okay. So the interesting thing is, this is totally live. We didn't plan this much at all.
So last minute. So for those of you who's like, okay, no judgment, but we just threw this literally last night, right? We said, oh my God, you're going to be in town. Get on the show. We don't have a guest this week. Jump on.
So yeah, this was kind of very last minute. But anyway, so my journey, basically, when things change, do you change with it? And so things in my career changed drastically with the market. And so I had to do something. And I loved writing, and I loved the creativity, and social media was just starting then. So that's kind of where I started to see my talents, my creativity, everything I loved could be used in that field. And so as that grew, that's where I met you, because I was just a freelancer at that time.
And I didn't know this at the time. You had just started, really.
Yeah,
I mean, you had just stepped into that space.
Yeah, I think you were like my third
or fourth client, right? And I had no idea. You were so passionate and so knowledgeable already going into the space. I mean, before you came on, basically your record, so to speak, your accolades of what you've done is that you were one of the first few people on the planet to sell
my space.
Sell your space via social media.
Oh, yeah.
Or sell a house. Not your space, but sell a house, right?
Well, yeah, and part of that was the social media end of that ended up being with MySpace, so that's why I said that. But yeah, going back, literally, in real estate we have these huge MLS books that, the real estate agent really controlled everything. You saw what they wanted you to see, so the internet really opened that up to be able to see, for you as a person, not to have to go by the agent. You could look for any home that was online. That was so different back then.
Right.
And then, okay, so everything is out online. How do you get that person to work with your company and work with your agents? So that was really the problem that started to happen. And how do you work with that? And that's what we did. So our little team, we put together standard procedures, scripts, and we ended up doing for our company, we sold more real estate through our little team of online team than all of their. I think we had 7 offices at the time.
Right,
so.
and it was all basically through social media.
But at that time, it was just e-commerce.
Right.
Social media wasn't even. I know it sounds so weird,
I know,
right?
I know. It's like, what? Facebook? No, Friendster. No, wait, MySpace. Wait,
Friendster was around then.
Friendster was around. MySpace was kind of like doing its thing.
Right.
And it was interesting because you then got asked to speak about it and travel around the nation to talk about what you and your team were able to do.
Because it was so new, and so how did you do that? And basically, I can give you the biggest key to that success was watching your analytics and looking at what the customer wanted, and then adjusting to that way. And then how can you take what they want and merge it with what your business needs?
Okay.
And so that's kind of how we developed that whole strategy.
I think it's a really important point, and it's worth repeating. And for those of you who are watching us live, you might want to pay attention. Maybe take some notes down on this one. So you just said right now one of the most important things about social media and using social media is to pay attention to the data that comes in.
Yeah.
And because you and I worked in the same space for so long in the online marketing area, might I add that the reason why that is probably because data comes at you, the relevant data comes at you so much faster than traditional marketing, right?
Oh, without a doubt, yeah.
Right? Because, do you remember how long, you're supposed to wait till you look at data from like radio ads, radio spots?
Do they even
spots?
have that? You can't even, you can guess at how many people see that ad in a magazine.
Right. Well,
and how many, you can do things like tracking phone numbers and codes and things like that, but, it was just more difficult.
Right. And now all you have to do is you just go to the administrative, the back end, the management console, and just take a look at all the data's there, whether it be Google Analytics or Facebook Analytics, right?
And you can see where your problems are. You can follow that through. You can see, okay, so they loved the post on social media. When they came to my website, they left.
Right.
So why did that happen?
Right.
So there's just so much in that whole game that you kind of have to be aware of.
Right. Just like using us as an example, my show as an example, hey, I don't care about being vulnerable here. It's like our stats have actually been going down. People have stopped listening to us and stopped downloading us, and we were looking at why that happened. And we were looking at the stats, and we were able to identify that because the frequency of our guests dropped, so did our statistics. Right? Which tells us that we need to have more guests on because people don't want to just listen to me. So, kind of sad. Kind of sad that it's like, it's not me that's driving the podcast, but really the guests, right? So,
Well, it is you, to the extent that your guest is on and you're directing the whole show. So. Right.
And I used to have a co-host too, a much prettier, younger, pleasant sounding. That
she's
have
fun.
done. Yeah, she's fun. So I think, for those of you who are looking to intern at a really cool podcast show, okay, feel free to kind of tune in. This is kind of cool. I kind of like the fact that there's a video, so I can make sure that my hair's in the right place and stuff like that. So, kind of interesting. But, anyway.
Well, we can't be drinking wine now.
Oh, on Facebook?
Yeah, because it's live.
But
you don't care if people know we're drinking wine?
Well, we're not.
Well,
I do have whiskey, though. I do have whiskey, though.
Okay.
So anyway, back to the topic at hand. Okay, so from that journey, you basically said, hey, there's a market out here. And now, have you found that because you're in your space that you've had to reinvent yourself multiple times to stay relevant, or you need to fine-tune? How did you, because it changes so fast.
Everything changes. Which is good as job security, right? So you change with it, and you keep, and it changes so much that really became leverage for me because now I can educate people on what the changes are coming up.
Right.
How do you adjust what you're doing with what's coming? So to me, I expect change and I like it. Sometimes it happens without notice.
Right.
Sometimes you get notice.
But it's almost like one of the things that turned me off eventually, and I turned it over to my business partner to run the day-to-day for DigiWay, is the fact that it's almost a full-time job just to keep up with it.
It is.
Right?
And so, I know you speak about this a lot, it's becoming even more niche. So when people come to us, we are just social media. Now we have other services that we partner with, but for us, it's just social media because really, that's, it changes so much now.
Right.
That's what we need to do to stay relevant and to, be the expert in that area.
Right. And
But,
for your peers and colleagues that are also, or people thinking about going into the world of as a social media agency, which is what you have, what would you recommend as something that'll prevent them from actually going out of business? Because so many people go into business and just as quickly as the data comes in, that's sometimes as quickly as some of these businesses go out of business.
Right.
So what would you say would be?
There's so much with that because social media is so much different. It's not web design, so hourly doesn't work.
Right.
There's so many facets to that question. So I don't even know where to
Right.
start.
I mean,
it's true because I think I told you I was at a networking event, and the guy literally knew I was there. Social media looked over and said, "My first business went bankrupt because I added social media into my thing."
Wow.
And he said that to me, and I thought, I'm sorry, I'm
Your
doing
first
really
business,
good.
I was like, wow, that's fascinating. How did they go bankrupt? Did you not pay attention?
Well, that's, I didn't want to say anything, but I thought, okay, well, now I feel even better that I'm still in business. And
right. So he went in as a social media, or
he was a website developer.
Okay.
Or he built websites.
Okay.
And what he did is, used another section, and he said, I do social media, by the way. And when he did that is when he felt like, I can only go by his word,
right,
that he went bankrupt.
Right. Oh, and by the way, for those of you listening to us live, make sure you can actually chit chat with us either on Facebook Live. Oh, hey! Speaking of co-host, speak of the devil, Jessica, the co-host is with, and there's Dave. Dr. Suh. It's like, hello, Dr. Suh. And if you want to join us and chit-chat with us live on the Spreaker side, if you're listening to us mobile, make sure there is a chat function there so you can ask Jennifer any questions that you want. So going back to you, this is really cool because I have a sneaking suspicion that, would you say that one of the things that kept you going is the fact that you realized beyond just being really good at social media, beyond just being really knowledgeable, there are some really kind of fundamental business principles that you had to make sure, that's universal business principle that you had to make sure that you adhered to make sure that you stayed in business?
I would say, and I'll be very open about this, ego and thinking you're always right kind of got my way one time, and I'll
really?
explain. Yeah,
How's that possible? If you think you're right all the time, aren't you always right? And you always you
have to be a little humble. So in my business, pricing obviously, as in any business, you have to figure out pricing. You have to figure out what you do, and I had a pricing model set up, and one of my largest clients said bye. Previous to that, he had been complaining about the price. Mm-hmm. And so, your first instinct is, this is my value, this is what it is. Mm-hmm. But really what it was his needs and his budget. And so from that experience of losing that client, I really took a look at what he was saying, and I really took a look at everything. And what he was saying was really what every small business person needed. And so that's how my packages are available now. People love them, and so it was listening to that feedback, although it hurt.
Right. So
that created what worked really well for me. So I thank him for that.
Right. So knowing what your rates are now, it wasn't just about increasing your rates to reflect your value. It's about creating a more diverse set of programs to support what you've been. And I think one of the things here is it because one of the things that's important about your business is listening to your audience about what their needs are.
Not only what we do, but in their interaction, the owners and the businesses with us.
Was there ever a time where you felt like you had to tell them what their needs are as opposed to you listen to what their needs are?
I think it's interpreting what they're saying into what they really need. Because a lot of people, the reason they're coming to me is they don't understand how it all works for business. And so taking a look at what they're doing, what they have done, and really their time commitment, because you do have to put some time into it yourself, and
Right.
we just kind of open it out.
Something I have to be dealing with right now. So anyway, okay, cool.
Not mentioning any names.
Not mentioning any names or anything. Somebody for 3 letters in his name, runs a couple companies. Needs to put more time into it. Anyway, so that's cool. I mean, from what I'm hearing is that, and it leads right into the topic that we're going to talk about today, which is, if you're not paying attention to the way the world is evolving in your space, and if you're not listening to your audience and what your audience needs are, then it doesn't matter how good you are in social media. It doesn't matter how good you are in whatever niche that you're in. It's going to be really difficult to succeed or to make sure that you have a future in your business. And therefore, the topic that we decided on today was, if you poop on technology, you're basically pooping on your business.
Yeah.
It's so funny that he says, "Are you going to actually say poop?" Yes, I say poop. Makes it very FCC friendly, air friendly.
Who doesn't like to say poop every now and then?
I know. Kids say poop. Adults can say poop too. So basically, poop on technology and poop on your business. Okay, what does that mean to you when we were talking about that?
People who don't want to change, they don't see. Basically, what I hear, occasionally is social media isn't going to get me any business, or that's just a waste of time. Why should I tell people what I'm eating every day?
Right.
That's what some people think it is.
Yeah, it reminds me of that show I just like. It's an okay show. James Franco was in it. It's called Why Him.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
It's the guy from Malcolm in the Middle, the father, and then so he's the dad. The daughter's in college at Stanford. Ends up, going out with this guy who has a major sailor mouth, and he's total you would think he's like a total bait, because
Right.
James Franco. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, it's going to be one of those movies. But it turns out that he's this massive, self-made mogul tech, kind of guy. And her dad actually had a long-standing paper business, printing business, and everything was going virtual, so he was losing business.
Oh, sure.
But he wasn't willing, and his son, who was being groomed to take over the company, he wasn't willing to listen to his son say, we got to do this, we got to change this. He goes, no, I know what we're doing, we'll know what we're doing. So can you speak to a little bit about that? Because you're on such the cutting edge of what it means to market your business, what it means to make sure that your business survives in this world. I mean, what can you say to people who say, oh, I don't understand it, so I'm not going to do it? Mm-hmm. Or technology, this and that. I mean, how many times have we heard that technology is the bane of our existence right now, and our kids and everything, all that's going to suffer, and we're pooping on it. And really, what would, from your perspective, what do you think that's actually doing to, by kind of not embracing that piece?
So kind of going in denial of technology. Or
putting it down.
Yeah, I think.
Or pooping on it.
I think that some people that come to me, they're so good in their business in real life. Mm-hmm. That's kind of a term we use. In real life, offline. People offline, they're doing really well. And you go to look at their website or you go to look at their social media, and it's either non-existent or their last post was 2012. Where they're like, okay, well, I'm here at my desk, right? So it's usually those people that are, I tried doing a post a little bit. I think that as the world becomes larger and as trust is big right now, that's big in advertising and everything that we do, trust is going to be huge. And so how can people trust you if they don't see the real you online?
Right.
And, it can only complement. Let's say you never intend to sell, quote unquote, online.
Right.
It can only complement what you're doing offline.
Yeah.
So,
and
how many people did you miss because you don't even know? They may have researched you and didn't see anything. It was like,
here's the thing. I'm going to grab my phone. Okay, so I go travel around the world and I speak. And everywhere I go,
what's your
the
app
entire
that
population.
You use the most? Just out of curiosity.
What's the app?
What's the app that you use the most?
When I travel? I usually use my work stuff, so I guess Facebook would
I was
be
going to
one.
say, if you want to go to a restaurant, for example,
Oh.
If you want to, what app would you look? Would you Google it, or would you Yelp it? Or
I would probably
Facebook?
Yelp it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then for the rest of the time it's Facebook, but I use Facebook for work and everything. But everywhere I look, it's like this. It doesn't matter where you are in the world right now. And if that's not technology, I don't know. They're like reading a book, hiding behind it, you know. And so it's interesting that if you are a business and you want to be a legitimate business, I mean, back in the day, I still remember going to the theater, seeing the URL show up for the first time for movies. I'm laughing. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to my computer right now and look at... I feel like an idiot now saying that. I know. Now it's like,
oh,
where's the URL? You know, where's the URL?
What's their Twitter handle?
I know. If they don't even have a URL, they're not legitimate. And that's kind of like the unconscious perception now, is that if you don't have a decent... People are so judgmental. If they look at your online presence, and if you have nothing there, you have nothing going on, most people, especially those who are consumers today, will not even pay attention.
Right. I did a blog post on the same thing. If you had a storefront and you didn't have signs out front, if you didn't have, even advertising out front that your door is open or that you're open for business, what would that look like? If someone was walking by, if you didn't have something that showed you were open for business or what you were about, it's the same online. You need that website. You need to have some fun.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. And there's other pieces of technology too. I still, I was talking to someone who still uses like the day planner. They write everything down.
I just met someone that did that
and they don't use anything else. And then something happened.
Oh no.
Like, I think
they
either lost it or whatever the case may be, and they had no idea what was going on in their life. They had no clue. They were so reliant on that paper. Mm-hmm. And I said, don't you have it like on your Google Calendar, or do you have it on the cloud somewhere? Like, what's that? And Google, no, it's too complicated. I didn't want to do it. But I need to write stuff down. I said, yeah, I have clients that do that too, but after they write it down, they either have their system or they do it themselves. They move it to a digital space. Mm-hmm. So in case something happens, it's like levels of redundancy, right? I mean, why do we buy insurance? Aside from the fact that sometimes the law requires us to, but if the law didn't require, we probably would still have insurance. Why? It's a redundancy thing. Mm-hmm. If you can't fix it yourself, and you don't have the time, or you don't have the expertise, then get it done. Mm-hmm. Same thing for your data. Yep. That literally set his business back about a week. Wow. And it took him a really long time to get back, into the swing of things, because he had to replace and redo everything and try to remember everything again.
Did he go back to his day planner?
Yes, and I said, you know what you can do? You can use Evernote. You can take pictures. So at least you have pictures of it. Can you do that? At least you take pictures of your phone, right? Take a picture.
Of your planner?
Of your planner, of your calendar. And so he started with these little baby steps. Baby steps. And Evernote is getting really, really good at deciphering stuff. So if you actually write it on Evernote approved notebook paper, mm-hmm. Evernote actually detects and can actually convert it to text and everything like that. See, technology is so cool if we leverage it and use it the right way.
Right.
That's why in my book about tech and Zen, which I'm still writing, I've been writing on for years, is about how we bridge the gap embracing technology. And it's not about saying technology is bad. We just haven't figured it out.
Right.
But how else do you see that if someone were to poop on technology, how that would actually poop on their business or affect their business?
Well, just kind of in your example, efficiency. I mean, being efficient, technology can help you so much with that. Right. Even for us, we use automation, mm-hmm. For our programs and things. And, paying for someone to do things manually, yes, we can do that. But if there's something that can be automated and monitored by someone manually, how much better is that? Right. So, there's a lot of things that you always have to, even in your own business, I think, always look at new things, see if that'll help you. Or
do you have examples in your mind of people that that you've seen them poop on technology, which then impacted their business, which then, let's bring it back to the relevancy of today's podcast, the Money Lab, then it impacts their money?
I would say definitely not being aware of your digital real estate and how that affects your business, because it is real estate.
If you have like a bad review.
Yep. People who don't know what's being said about them or don't care, who looks at that? Pretty much everyone.
Pretty much everyone, right? And at any given moment, they could just search.
And why wait until you get that bad review and figure out how to get rid of it, and then your time is wasted, and how many people have seen it by the time you can get to that point of having it corrected. So,
and people don't care if it's legitimate or not sometimes.
No. I mean, if that's the only one review that's on there because you haven't been asking people to leave reviews or have a game plan with that, you know, that's what they're going to believe.
So that's an interesting thing here too. Is like, you know, in terms of asking people to leave a review, what would you say is the most ethical way of doing that? Because there's unethical ways of doing that, which is paying people to leave reviews, which then skews it, right?
Yeah, and it's against guidelines.
Against guidelines for a lot of different places, especially like Yelp, right? Even though Yelp's algorithm is a little funky anyway, but still.
I think Google is the same way as well.
The same way?
Yeah,
if they find out that you...
Or if you... you know, and you can, so like in product reviews, you can pay someone to review it, but they have to disclose that. And so it's just
which is what happens on Amazon.
Yeah.
As a disclosure, I've done, you know, I was given the product.
Yeah, and now they're even going even further with that. So, just being transparent in reviews. But, you know, the chances are if people are happy with you, they're very happy to help you in your business, especially if you help them. And
where's my review?
So, I'm going to ask you the same thing.
That's right. We need to review each other.
So, you know, I'm a big fan of Google reviews because that's where new people are going to find you. So, for me, that's a priority, is Google reviews.
Got it.
But now I just lost track of what we were talking about. Oh, how to get Google reviews. So, we actually have a service, and I like the service because it is authentic to the point that it's very easy. Google reviews are hard to get for businesses because it's hard to point people to that review spot on Google+. So the business actually, or the company we work with has a card, and they just put in the URL, they punch in their email address, and they leave a review. And the review goes on to the priority that you said. So if you want Google reviews, that review will be published on Google. If you want Yelp, TripAdvisor, all those things.
So they take the review, and then once the review is submitted,
it's like a blank page, and your customer leaves a review. If it's good, it goes to your place of choice.
Oh, cool.
And then it gets posted. So it actually looks at their phone to know what one they have, what accounts they have, and they'll put it on there.
And that's a service that you guys
yes,
provide
we
for
provide that.
the clients. Okay, cool.
But then if it's bad, which is the key thing, because especially if you have a lot of different locations, you may not know what's going on in certain locations. If it's bad, it comes to you, and then you can address it by way of, you know, contacting the customer. What happened? Can you explain it? Let me offer you free service. And so it does not get published. Now, they can go around it and do their own.
Publish anyway.
Right. But it allows you to kind of have a heads up on it. Right. You know, we had a client that one of his locations was just not making money. He implemented it, and it was just bad review over the manager there. And so he removed the manager, and it changed. So
that's so powerful. So that's actually something interesting that I want to bring attention to, is that even though you were brought in to do reputation management, social media management, you were able to actually impact their operations, their economic performance, because it was through the social media channels we're able to identify what the problem was. Oh,
and
that's
so the
cool.
owner was able to actually call those clients and say, "Can you please tell me, you know, what happened?" And so he was able to revive that customer.
That's powerful. That is so valuable.
That's someone using technology to better his business, right? And those reviews were important, and he could monitor. I think he had 6 locations.
Yeah, and had he been pooping on technology, he probably would have never known. Probably may have had to close that. You know, that shop.
What an easy fix. Well, not easy.
I mean, easy enough. I mean, the ease comes from. Hold on. The ease comes from just knowing. Knowing. The knowledge is power.
Yeah. And that was analytics too, to a point where he knew the numbers, and the numbers were showing it, but what was causing that? And so then taking that next technology step.
Hey.
I have a program for you.
You do?
I do.
Well, I have a client for you. Good to meet. But okay, cool. So you know, it's such a fascinating thing, because you know, when we talk about technology all the time, it's always met with some kind of either with tech phobia or like, oh yeah, but there's a lot of overwhelm that happens too when people hear about technology, having to do this and that. I mean, what is something that you can give advice to give business owners who, the minute they hear technology, that they need to embrace technology, they get so overwhelmed because either they think they have to do it all themselves, or whatever the case may be, or they don't even get to the door to actually have a conversation with somebody to see what their options are because they're so overwhelmed. And so much anxiety around tech.
They do, and I've been more and more aware of that, and I think it's because people are realizing how important it is for their business, and they're like, okay, so now I got to write a blog post, now I have to do SEO, now I have to do e-commerce, now I have to do social media, I have to be on Facebook, Google+, I've got to be on LinkedIn, I've got to be, and it can just build, right? And I get that. So what we've done is we have packages that are very simple. You don't have to worry about it. I have a signature onboarding process, and we go through it. I learn more about your business, and we set it up, so it's done for you. And then if you find something you want to share, you just send it to us, and we'll take care of it. So for a small entry fee, you can play in the game, right?
Right.
But I also look at things and give people
and just for
advice.
context, what is a typical small entry fee that you were talking about?
So, for the people of the Money Lab listeners.
You mentioned the Money Lab. If you listen
we'll
to this,
we'll have a link later.
Yeah.
But yeah, $149 a month. So what does that figure out to a day? Like
$149. That's like
$5.
$5.
$5 a day. It's like
it's
a
$5 a day.
Starbucks coffee.
Yeah. If you drink a coffee every day, like the coffee that I have here, which is just about $5 because it's the almond milk mocha that I like.
There you go.
I don't even drink it because I like coffee per se. It's just the flavor and the taste. It's almond milk. It's got a little mocha. It's got a little caffeine so that after I work out, it keeps my adrenaline going for a little bit. But it's not.
Would you give it up for technology?
I just, you're talking to a guy that says, if I need more money, I'll just go make more money.
Right.
And then I'll get the technology that I want, right?
Because you're not giving it up.
Yeah. I'm not giving it up. This is mine. So, but it's just to provide like a little contrast comparison,
Yeah.
But for the cost of basically one coffee a day that you buy retail, right? And people can argue, well, I use Keurig, whatever. If you use Keurig, if you use it twice a day, then basically, or 3 times a day. And the whole point is, right, it's the latte effect, right? They do this for investing. They talk about investing too.
See how
and so there's a latte effect apparently for your pricing model too.
Yeah, and I mean, if you can invest that little amount just to start and to take that off your mind, because a lot of times
it's worth so much more than $4.95.
Yeah, I mean, just to know it's done. I think there's fresh content.
I mean,
we have examples where you don't even have to write your own content,
right.
And my clients are getting business.
So, how many hours do you think you would take? You save a typical entrepreneur with just that program that you have right there.
It depends on how good they are. So it's a little. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, do you know how to log into each LinkedIn, go in there, craft it, then get out, then go into your Facebook?
So even if someone is,
I do have one quote,
right.
one time frame, and it was LinkedIn, and I can't remember the article, but I saved it, so I'm going to show it on my social sites.
Okay.
And I find it. It said that they suggested spending an hour and a half a day on LinkedIn.
An hour and a half a day.
That's what their suggestion was.
Okay. So this is let's crunch some numbers real quick. Okay, it's an hour and a half a day, 7 days a week, or 5. Let's say 5 days.
Let's
a week.
say 5.
Okay, so that's 20 some odd hours a week, right? Yeah. That's what 20 times 4 is like 80 hours a month, right?
And that's just LinkedIn.
That's just LinkedIn. And
let's say I have to tell you, I was shocked at that number that they provided.
Right. So that's 80 hours, right? Okay, and then if you're working on average about 160 hours a month, right?
Yeah.
So
on an average.
Wait, that's 80. Wait, 40
hours a week.
40 hours a week.
Yeah, 80.
Okay, so
okay,
so
160, right?
Yeah, 160. And how many hours did we say for according to LinkedIn? It's an hour a day.
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half. Okay, let's round up because most people, if you have tech, especially if you have tech challenges, 2 hours times 5 is 10. Times 4 is 40. So out of the 160 hours a week, 40, okay, which is about a fourth of it, right? So a fourth of it. Now let's crunch the number. Let's say you make 6 figures a year.
I was just going to say, let's break it down to how much that's
which is about eight. Let's round down on this one. $8,000 a month. Mm-hmm. Okay, $8,000 a month. A fourth of that, okay, is what?
Your time.
$2,000. So 140.
Comes down to that much. Wow.
Yes, $149 a month saves you, in essence, $2,000 worth of your time, assuming you're making six figures.
Right.
Right? And if you're not making, let's say you're making half that, you're making $50,000. That's half it. Then it's saving you $1,000. So even at $50,000 a year that you're making, if you're saving a quarter of your time that you would spend on social media for $149 a month, you're essentially saving $1,000. So you're actually netting $1,000 minus $150, which is what?
You're making money.
It is $850 a month. You're making
Right.
money, right? I mean, and ideally, with the right
Right.
campaign put together, you actually are.
Right.
See, being able to put that in perspective, I'm listening to you, I'm putting these numbers together. I was like, that's huge.
Yeah.
But people don't take the time to do that because they've got this anxiety around technology and they're pooping on technology. They're saying, well, technology is such the bane of our existence and blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden they notice their peers and their colleagues are surpassing them. They're growing. Their business becomes more and more of a struggle to stay relevant.
Yep.
Okay. So I guess the whole point of today is if you want to stay relevant, right, pooping on technology or on the services that, for example, you provide, is literally killing your business.
Yeah.
Can be.
Because how many people have missed you online?
Yeah. How serious are you, right? Because most of the world is moving more and more to be online.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, just think about your own use. How much time do you spend? That's why I asked you.
A lot.
Yeah. Well, when you travel and when you're in airports or when
when
what
I travel,
do you look at?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like I moved everything to the cloud because I was, for a while, I was traveling so much, to speak and everything, that I wanted everything in the cloud. So that at any given moment, I can pull out my phone and access all my documents.
Yeah.
I can pull out my iPad, access all my documents. Have all my communication platforms on it. It's all technology, and if you do it right and you make sure that you create a lifestyle around it, it doesn't have to be something that occupies your life 24/7.
Right.
I think because of what you've been able to do for us and so many other pieces of technology, there are days where I literally sit around, and despite in the middle of launching one business and running two other businesses, I'm sitting there going, I actually have some time to play some video games right now. I think I'm going to do that.
You got to take time out for you.
And I do. Sometimes a little bit too much. I recently got a new PS4, and I'm just like, yeah, and I got myself that Final Fantasy game. And, oh my God, I'm so sucked into that. Although yesterday I did not.
Time flies, doesn't it?
It does, and I did not. It's amazing. So it's one of those things. But I pay attention to that and I say, if this is so fun, how can I make the rest of my life just as fun? How can I gamify my life? But that's a whole separate conversation. But it's all based on technology.
Yeah. Definitely.
So very, very cool. So where are you now with your business? Now that tell me about your audience. Who is it that you serve best? In terms of what it is that you are doing now. What is it that you offer?
So the smaller packages are really great entry level, and it's for people who are maybe just starting with social media, need to learn it, or businesses who are literally at zero. There's no one you follow them that have no account.
And what would be the strategy? What would be the purpose of starting with someone who? Because a lot of people say, "Well, I'm not up yet, so I shouldn't do social media just yet."
So one of the greatest misconceptions about the internet is that the instant you post something, everyone's going to see it. And that's not true. That's not true, right?
What?
It takes at least 2 months for that Twitter account to be indexed, right? It'll take 4 months to really kind of see everything working and you start to see results if you're at zero.
Right.
So your business isn't there. Get it started. Get something on there, so it's integrated and working and getting indexed. Because if people are going to Google you and nothing's there, it takes 2 months.
Yeah.
Roughly,
exactly.
At least 2 months.
Yeah, especially if you're because I think the algorithms from Google is if you're brand new and doesn't have any history on you, the bot goes, I'll come back a little bit later, or I'll.
And if you don't have that fresh content, it's not going to be sent over to any of your sites, right? And so you think of how many accounts are on Twitter, so that you'd have to talk to SEO guys, shouldn't say that. But it does take even those profiles a while to get indexed.
Well, I used to be an SEO guy. I can tell you what's going on.
That's why I stopped.
No, I mean, no, it's true. I mean, there was a period of time where I basically went on this blogging binge. And there was not one day that went by for a few months that I didn't blog something. And I was blogging, I was doing my SEO, I was indexing, I was sharing it, and then talking to people about it. And back when PageRank was still kind of important, my blog went from PageRank 0 to PageRank 4 or 5.
Well, that's really good.
I know.
Like, what was the top?
The top
5?
is like 6.
Was it 6?
Yeah, so it got to 5 because people were sharing my content. I was providing tech solutions. I was talking about social media. I was talking about SEO. I was talking about all these different, whatever I felt like talking about. I'm going to share these stories, but I just kept blogging, and I kept putting the right tags and everything, the meta tags and keywords and stuff like that, and just doing it every single day just to see what would happen. And sure enough, Google loved it so much. I saw the bots were visiting my site like 3 times a day.
Oh, really? That's really good.
Yeah, they were like coming back. Is there something new?
They don't come to my site that often.
They don't come to my sites that often anymore, too, because I'm too busy, running a business.
Yeah.
So that's why there are people who blog for a business, because if you do that, there's value to it if you do it right.
Yes.
Right? So it's interesting. Because of technology, I feel like we're living in a time where you can make money pretty much doing anything. Like literally anything. Whatever you can think of. Let's think of the most outlandish thing right now that you can potentially make money from doing.
Collecting swizzle sticks.
Collecting swizzle sticks.
I bet you could Google that. I bet you there's swizzle stick collectors.
Are you going to do it? Swizzle
sticks. Do you even know what that is?
I don't even know what that is.
So those are those little glass sticks that you can buy that you stir your martinis with or your drinks with.
Swizzle Stick, International Swizzle Stick Collectors Association is an ISSCA, and this was founded in 1985. This is what's so fun. I need to be able to access Google throughout this podcast show more often now.
See?
Become a member today. Hall of Swizzles. There's a Hall of Swizzles. It shows about airline swizzle, Halloween, Floridiana Swizzle Sticks from Florida. Hey, this is where you are right now. You should get some of those Swizzle Sticks. Holy, and this is a good website. It's modern, it's updated, it's active. Holy cow. So
literally anything.
It's an association. And
I'll bet you have members. They have memberships?
Yeah, there's SwizzleCon.
SwizzleCon.
There's SwizzleCon. You can join.
Oh my god.
You get access to valuable swizzle stick collector research, opportunity to add to your collection.
And that's all content. Wait, let's do this.
You can snap some squares.
Do they have Instagram? Do they have Facebook?
Oh god, that's a good question. When we go to home. Yes, they have Instagram. House of Swizzle. If you go to House of Swizzle, they have 301 posts. They have 2,200 followers. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited.
Who knew?
Who knew? And have videos. This is fancy. Holy cow. So,
there we go. We have proved it with Swizzle
We have proof. Swizzle sticks. I mean, so literally, I mean, if you can actually, yeah, if you're looking on Facebook Live, you can see the screen. It looks, you didn't have to see my screen. You can see it. This is the Swizzle Stick Association.
That actually is cute.
I know, right? Say hey, ask a question. ISSCA, welcome to Swizzle Stick Heaven. I know. I should create like a six-figure earner association, whatever.
A swizzle stick or 6 figures?
6-figure Swizzle Stick Association. Seriously, I mean, any niche. I mean, dare I say, any fetish. I mean, it's anything.
If I had any type of, I was a winery, if I was selling spirits, juices, mixers, these are the people I'd be talking to, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
So my social sites would want to be connected there.
To them, right? You know, and tag them, hashtag them. You know,
right? Just find out what hashtags.
So that's a good question. You know, let's make this the last one because believe it or not, the hour's
almost up. Did we go through an hour? Oh yeah. Okay. Wow.
Right. So what would you say is a good strategy for people to make those types of connections? If you see that there's a really good synergistic relationship, like you're saying, if I have any spirit or wine company, I should probably do some kind of like a cross-promotional thing with them. What would be a good strategy to do that, to open up that conversation so that they don't just go cold call, say, hey, by the way, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, so one of the things that we always ask people is, who is on your hit list? Like, who if you're in real life, been doing well, who's your demographic, what businesses?
Right.
And we always go and follow. So if I had a client that was a winery, or let's say, what do they sell? Rum.
Okay.
Rum would be a great one.
Right.
Rum, I would want to connect, so I'd want all my social accounts connected.
Right.
I would be sharing their content.
Right.
And on my stuff,
right.
And then I would probably make a warm call through social media. I would say, hey, love your stuff, because there way we can partner in a picture together, or can we use something of yours?
And how much should you be sharing before you start that conversation?
I think that you don't want to spam them,
right.
because nobody appreciates that. But I think every now and then, just go over there, do a little like, do a little repost or
right.
retweet. And then keep that conversation going. And in Twitter, you can make lists. So if you make lists up, put them in a list, so it's very easy for you to go back and take a look at that and see what they're up to, what they're doing. And it also makes you knowledgeable if you're in sales. You know what they're doing. They're showing you what their next campaign is. You know what their campaigns are.
So my Twitter game's pretty weak. So you and I will have to talk offline about.
Twitter's a hard one for a lot of people.
Yeah, to develop. I mean, to set, but hearing what you just said right now, creating a list and everything like that, that could probably tame a lot of that chaos. Because to me, I think Twitter, I think chaos.
Right.
And every time I go there, I'm like, I don't know.
Well, you can mute posts now too. So you can, if you want to follow someone,
I might hurt somebody's feelings.
They don't know it.
Oh, they don't know.
They don't know it.
I muted you, by the way, but I'm not telling you. Because
I don't like what you're posting, but I want to offend you.
But I don't want to offend you, right? Exactly. So, okay, great. So we're approaching the top of the hour. What I'd like to do is give you a little bit of airtime to talk about, how do people get connected with you? How can they get connected with you?
So, actually, my site is a wealth of knowledge for people just starting and learning things, and it's eGen, EJENN Solutions, plural.
Yeah.
eGenSolutions.com. And you'll find, and actually we have free how to set up your social media sites, so those are all free. However, we are doing away with that as of December 1st. So if there's an interest to anyone, get there before December 1st. And then we do have a special. You want me to talk about that?
Yeah, I'm going to post a link right now.
Okay, so we have a special. Our packages start at $197 and $297, but for the wonderful Money Lab listeners, yes, and Six Figure Academy, we're giving that away for $149 a month, and we're also waiving the setup fee.
Ooh.
So it's a really great way for you to get started. And that review that we talked about, we also do free setup, which is a $300 value.
Wow.
So if you come through us, contact me. My phone number is actually on that page, so
Holy
you
cow.
can contact me directly. That's how I am, and we'll go from there. So we'll explain it and give you a demo and all that fun stuff. But yeah, for social media, you don't have to worry about it. You can post whenever you have time, and if you don't have time, we take care of the rest for you. And we post on LinkedIn, we post on Facebook, Google Plus, and Twitter.
Right. So I would say, hopefully by now you realize how easy it is to connect with Jen and how easy it is to talk to her. I'm looking at the page that she set up just for us here. 479-799-2734. That's her direct line, and she's just, very easy to, I mean, we use her. So, hey. So yeah, if you have just like a question, what I found about Jen is, at the end of the day, she's more of a teacher and a resource first before a moneymaker or businesswoman, right? So, but definitely take advantage of this in terms of tapping into that wealth of knowledge. We're talking about years and years of demonstrated success in using social media to achieve a variety of different things in a variety of different industries. So, I'm really glad that we were able to do this, because the last time we did this, we were like 20 minutes late due to technology issues. And then, the people who did come on, they ended up leaving because they probably didn't think.
They were like, I have the wrong time. They didn't do it.
And they didn't, it's how nice of them to take responsibility for it, even though it wasn't them. We don't know if they're actually thinking that or not. But anyway, so this is cool. I'm glad we got a chance to do this. I'll say we got a like from Lauren Weber. We got a like from Corey. It's so true. You can make money and create a business for anything. Yes, Lauren, absolutely. This is so cool. I think I'm going to have to do more of this. I mean, if you guys, for those of you who saw both the Spreaker and the live broadcast, let me know. Let us know, actually, since, she had
what we can do is actually put this video then. We'll put the link in Spreaker comments so people can.
Check out the video and stuff like that. Let us know if this, being able to see a Rubik's Cube on my desk while we're doing this is, kind of like adds to the value of our show. And if you'd like to see more of the podcast in a video format, because we're thinking about going in that direction anyway. So setting up, getting the technology together, getting things set up the right way. I kind of like this, so I can make sure, like I said, I'm not like looking like the boombot here and just like dressed like a PJ.
Now you have to dress up.
Now I have to actually dress up. So anyway, okay, great. Well, thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to catching up. Since you're here, one of these evenings we should probably catch happy hour and stuff like that.
Oh, happy hour is always good. Let's see what swizzle sticks we can find.
I know. And there's a tapas and vino place right here.
Oh.
You've never been.
No.
Tapas and vino.
Well, that's right up my alley.
There you go. Okay, great. So again, thank you so much. If you look at our comments, it's egensolutions.com/moneylab. And if you just mention us, and she can probably give you all kinds of cool concessions because of how long we've been playing together in the space. So again, thank you so much for coming by. Thank you so much for making time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
That's nice.
This is fun to actually do this live versus you being virtual. I think that was how it's supposed to be anyway.
Gotcha.
All right.
That's why.
So again, that's it, guys. That's it for this week on the Money Lab. Poop on your poop on technology and poop on your business, or just poop. But anyway, have an amazing week. Go out there and make some money. Enjoy yourselves. Thanks, live people, for coming by, and we will catch you guys next time.